How you doing, everybody? It's your boy GPSS coming at you again with another game review of a game that is super awesome, amazing, and epic, and super fantastic. A game called Neverwinter Dungeons & Dragons. Now, I highly recommend that you watch this review all the way through. And, of course, if you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, then do those things. Thank you so much, and enjoy. Alright, so when you first start playing this game, as always, you're going to get into a cutscene. Now, this cutscene is actually very important when it comes to picking your character. They give a nice little example of what each basic character will do in the game, and hopefully if you see what you like, it'll help you and influence the pick that you'll have in the future. Now, of course, you're not going to be doing most of these abilities, but it's still nice to see what your options are, and it kind of gives you a feel for what you're going to be facing in the far future. So definitely watch it when you get a chance. Alright, after all that business, you're going to start creating your character now, and the first thing that you see is going to be something called Select a Race. On the left side, you're going to see abilities and a little bit of the bio of the character. Now, I'm going to honestly tell you with my full, honest opinion that the race does not matter. Okay, no matter what people say, no matter what they give you, what kind of advice they tell you, the abilities on the left side mean absolutely nothing, and the race does not matter. Yeah, it looks cool and it basically tells you who you're going to be, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, this is important. Okay, this is called your select character class, where you actually pick the attack and defense and all of your special powers of your character. Now think about this wisely, because it will impact your future choices. I personally picked the wizard because friggin' wizards are awesome, alright, without doubt. But personally, there are lots of choices to pick from, so don't feel pressured to pick anything special. You do you. Yet again, this is also important. This is actually your ability scores. Now, you can randomize your ability scores by pressing square, whatever the button is, as many times as you want. You're going to get a different outcome, but the purple circle is what your highest ability importance thing is for the character that you pick. If you pick like a hunter, it's going to be something different. If you pick a wizard, it's going to be something else. But at the bottom, you're going to see your choice to add to any category, whether it's strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, whatever. You have the ability, you have the option to pick add to whatever one you want. Now, of course, I believe that if you're these kind of games, you want to balance yourself as much as possible, so I definitely went with the charisma, because I feel like I'm gonna have to persuade a lot of people. But really, you can read these things separately. I didn't read them separately. I don't care to read them separately. I read a few of them. They don't make sense, but that's up to you. Moving on. Here are more things that don't really matter, but I wanted to show you guys other ways to customize your character. I personally made mine as close to what I look as possible, like I always do, but, you know, it still doesn't matter. But, you know, I wanted to show you guys this anyway. This is where you can pick your god that you believe in, and this is where you can hail from or whatever. Moving on. Alright guys, so when you first jump your feet into this game, as always, they're going to give you guys the bare minimum to survive. Now, I understand that when you first start off, it also gives you the feel, and it gives you what it feels like and looks like and all this good stuff, and it is quite refreshing, but you have to talk to some people, and they ask you where you're from, you tell them where you're from, and yada yada yada, and after all of this happens, you actually decide to move on. They tell you that there's some clothes over in a box, you go pick them up, and that's pretty much it. But most of the time when you travel in this world, you're not going to find anything substantial. You're not going to find any good armor or weapons. You're going to find mostly stuff that you can sell for auction, which nobody does that unless you're bored with your life. And moving on. Okay, now we're moving on to something that I actually enjoy in this game. It's called, the quest system is amazing. Alright, when you first, I'm going to try and explain it to you while I play some gameplay in the background, so it's not going to be too much of your time, but just watch it anyway. So the quest system is actually very good, because you can, once you start a quest, the quest ends at the end of the quest, if that makes sense. It's literally point A to point B, finish and done. You start talking to the first guy, and you meet up with the second guy at the end. You talk to the first guy, he tells you what to do, you go through the mission, and then all at the end, there's usually a guy you talk to, and he will complete the mission for you. There's no running around, there's no back and forth, there's no other stuff you have to worry about, which is great, refreshing, that you don't have to run around all the time. It's very linear, kind of like, you know, another game that we know. But as well, it's not a lot of running around and nonsense that you have to talk to. It is kind of wide open, which is why I like it, but it's also not confined to a space like Diablo was, which is why it's kind of the best of both worlds, and we're going to be, you know, enjoying it as well. Moving on again. Alright, now guys, I'm going to explain to you probably the best possible thing in gaming history, the most amazing thing that could ever happen, is probably the ability to teleport. Now, I'm not saying that I'm trying to endorse the wizard community, but I'm going to guarantee you that teleporting is way cooler than rolling around on the ground, whether if you were a hunter or some other dumb crap. Okay, now you could do this as much as you want. There's a stamina meter, but it recharges pretty quickly, and that really doesn't matter. But you know, I think it's freaking awesome. And there's a lot of cutscenes. It's unfortunate. Alright guys, I'm going to show you guys in the background a gameplay of my first boss battle while I talk to you about the gameplay. Now, this game is very well done and very, well explained, but you're going to struggle if you have slow reaction skills. Basically, all you got to do, if you see a guy swinging at you, you dodge out of the way. You see him swinging, you dodge, okay? And then you attack. You see him swinging, you dodge. It's not that difficult. But it works all together well. The fluency is fantastic. When you use your potions correctly, you put in your attacks where it's necessary, it really just flows very nice. The control is fluent. Everything is well done. There's some challenging parts and there's some not challenging parts. Makes you feel good, makes you feel bad. It's almost the best of both worlds, in my opinion. There's lots of points added for this part. Now we're going to get into something that I don't understand. Why on earth are there so many side quests? Now, side quests are okay, but when I get to the point where I don't even remember what the main story is anymore, then that's a real problem. Like, when did I get to the point where they're talking about a crown? I thought I was supposed to destroy a zombie queen. I don't know. Now we're going to get to the part where my goodness, if this thing did not exist, I would cry. It would probably be the fact that the fairy dust stuff that follows you around and tells you to the next location is a godsend. I will guarantee you the one time where I got stuck and I didn't know where I was going, it saved my life. Like, I don't even understand how some people can find this stuff, like, without this fairy dust. Without this fairy dust, I would have never guessed that my next mission was the magical hole in the wall underneath all of this rubbish. But now I know you guys are going to like this because it's good. But I'm going to try and explain to you all of the important things on the HUD that you need to know. I know there's a lot to it, but I'm going to explain and I'm going to point out which ones are the most important for you to know right now. It's not even that bad. You guys can get it. No, I'm just kidding. Most of this explains what to do, and it should help you out in the end, and it'll make sense eventually. Now we're going to get to something that frustrated me a lot. Another thing that is ridiculous. I would have never even known where the power upgrade section was until I randomly stumbled upon the options menu. Like, they need to make that more clear. But now I'm going to give my final review while I give you guys some gameplay in the background of some dungeon stuff. This game is very well done. The sounding is fantastic. The music quality is unbelievable. The gameplay is great. The graphics are fantastic. Where it lacks is it lacks to explain all of the options that you can do. It fails to explain all the things you're able to see, and it fails to explain how big the game really is. It's a PC game, so they kind of crunch everything in a little bit, which is okay, but they don't do a good job explaining everything, which is minus some points on that scale. But overall, it's a fantastic game. High replayability, high playability all around, and I can't get enough of it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. There's not really much else to say. Highly go get this game. It's free on the PlayStation Store. It's not even PlayStation Plus users. You just go get it. All right? It's freaking awesome. I would definitely give this a game solid 9 out of 10 because of all the positives. That little negative stuff, if you read the manual, you'll get it eventually. I hope you guys really enjoyed this nice review, and if you did, as always, subscribe, like, comment, and of course, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!